are open to anyone at any time and in any place. So this week, we want to go beyond just knowing about miracles and be able to use them. We want to get out of that, I hope so, wishful kind of thinking and space and into the place where we know we want to become miracle workers. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Marcia Martin, the heart healer, and today we're going to discover how to become those miracle worker, miracle makers that really can live lives that feel good and bring that power to others. Now, before we go on, though, I want to remind you that miracles are still part of the same universal law. So let's say you're praying for someone to get well, and you truly are in alignment with everything that is needed for you to be a miracle maker, and the person doesn't recover. You didn't do anything wrong. The person didn't do anything wrong. However, highest good always trumps everything else. And if it is for the highest good for that person not to recover or to transition, then that's going to happen no matter what your input might have been. You can make an easier transition for the person and you could really make their life meaningful, but you're not going to be able to interfere with highest good. So let's look again at what we discovered about miracles to make sure we all understand, because at least in my life, miracles were considered something that was out of the norm, so rare and very unlikely to happen. And we want to get away from that thinking and really make use of the energy that we've got. So, miracles are unconditional love in action. It is love just being love at its finest, love doing good. Remember, God is only love and God is only good. So, this is just you tapping into that divine stream and allowing that love to pour forth from you. Miracles are common. I already mentioned that, but it's really important to keep your focus there. Miracles are happening around us all of the time. We live in a miracle called the physical body. When we give birth, every child is a miracle. So let's remember that this energy is available and working all of the time. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. So we know that according to the Bible, Jesus was able to raise the dead. There is no difference in saying, I really need a miracle of $100 in my bank account, and the miracle of raising the dead. So let's get away from some of the superstition that may be concerning miracles so you can really make use of the power. Everyone can receive a miracle. There is no one that has done something so vile in the eyes of society that they are going to be rejected by the divine. Therefore, everyone can receive a miracle. You do have to do certain things to be in alignment with that miracle power, but everyone can receive. And it is interesting too, because sometimes the person who has fallen the furthest is the most in need of the miracle and will benefit the most from the miracle and cause the best ripple effect. And so they may get that miracle that you think they're not deserving of receiving. So just remember, everyone can receive a miracle. Miracles provide benefit for the giver and the receiver. There's no downside to miracles. You cannot be a miracle maker and then find that you don't have what it is that you need. Only good can flow between you and whomever you are believing the miracle for, helping to intercede in the miracle. Now, last week I gave you some homework to prepare you to get into this becoming a miracle maker space. I want you to really understand the power that these miracle workers, the old European ladies dressed in black, the power of their faith. So I asked you to pretend that you had that level of faith as well. They are the what I would consider to be bedrock faith holders. If you've ever had the opportunity, and I'm not excluding men, however, I've only known women to hold this position. But if you've ever had the opportunity to talk with some of these women and to understand where they're coming from, you may not agree with their view of religion or their view of God or any of the way they go about it. But what they have that is absolutely essential is bedrock faith. You cannot move them from their understanding that a miracle is possible, and if they hold that space, a miracle will be forthcoming. That's the most important thing for you to gain access to. Now, it's not going to come overnight. So you're going to have to build up. Start small, really becoming an observer of all the miraculous things that are happening around you all of the time. And before you realize it, your faith is going to grow. But let's look at the 4 components that are required for you to be one of these miracle makers, miracle working beings on the earth. Because it is so lovely to be in the space where you are always benefiting as you benefit others. So the first thing you need to do is forgive yourself. Notice that I didn't say forgive others, because those of us who are interested in being miracle maker, miracle worker beings are generally holding a grudge against ourselves. You are empathic, and you might look at yourself very critically while you give a lot of um, free passes to other people. So I want you to get into the space where you are learning to forgive yourself. Yes, you should forgive others, but that's going to come much more naturally to you than forgiving yourself. So remember, we've all made mistakes, which means we have all committed a sin, because sin and mistake are the same word. So that means everyone is a sinner. So let's just get over that right now. I'm a sinner. You're a sinner. We're all sinners, and we are going to continue to be sinners because we're going to continue to make mistakes. And the only way to grow is by making mistakes. So you don't want to erase sin and erase being a sinner from your life. You just want to learn and move on and forgive yourself for not knowing or for knowing and doing it anyway. So I got a couple of things that you can concentrate on. First of all, I want you to be honest about what you've done. No more sweeping it under the rug. This is going to create a really tense, energetic situation for you. So let's say you did something that wasn't great. Okay, be honest about the situation. And then ask yourself, as you're looking back on it, usually when we're looking back on it and we're recognizing we've made a mistake, we have more information and can make a better judgment. So now you need to ask yourself, would I have made this same mistake, committed this same sin, if I had known what I know now then? So you're basically asking yourself, would I have done better if I knew better? If the answer is yes, then you ask yourself, and am I able to do better now? And do I choose to do better now? These are the ways that you are able to easily forgive yourself. If you're in a position where you're saying, yeah, I know better, but I don't want to, You've got stuff going on in your heart that needs to be cleared. You've got resentment, anger, guilt, shame, blame. You got a lot of stuff going on there that is making you so steeped in that negative side of the spectrum that you're not able to see clearly. So get in there and do some deep forgiving. Now, perhaps you asked yourself some questions and you said, no, I'd still do the same thing because I'm still angry. In addition to the forgiveness work, now remember, we said in the first half, we said, yeah, I really want to do better. Now we're on to the side where, you know what? Yeah, I do the same thing, only worse, because you haven't been successful in releasing that pain. So at this point, I would ask you to call on the angels to help you with radical forgiveness. You are not understanding the damage that you are doing to your own physical body by holding on to the anger and the negativity. So release that anger, but call on the angels for guidance and support to move you out of there. Now, within my community, the My Heart's Desire community, I have all of these tools and techniques. So you are welcome to join the community. And actually, I will give you, wait a minute. Where's my chat? Oh, here we go. I will give you a link to my new ebook. And Lisa, yay! Hooray! I'm so delighted that you're here. And Sirius, I'm delighted that you're here as well. Yes, I would believe, because Sirius, I know we've been talking for a while and you are so, uh, aware of the miracle consciousness. So it doesn't surprise me at all that you've been the recipient of miracles. Now, again, going back to where we were before, if you don't receive a miracle, does it mean you failed? No, it's not for your highest good. If you have done this work, this inner work, so you are clear and really flowing that miracle making energy, then it's not for your highest good or for whomever is part of the miracle that you are wanting to do. It may not be the right time. It may not be the correct experience. Let it go. Let it evolve naturally in the way that it's supposed to. So now, back to you can't forgive yourself. You know exactly what you did, and you would do it again and even more. As I said, you can ask the angels for support. You can join my community in Patreon and get all of the tools and the techniques. You can also get that website, go on my website and get that free ebook that will support you. You also have to remember that you said no, but you still have to remember that you got to forgive others even and assume that they didn't know better. You can't get in their mind and say, I know they're doing this on purpose. Most people are good, kind, and loving beings. If they are acting in a way that is cruel, it is not likely, unless you are dealing with somebody who is having intense personal issues, it is not likely that they're going to go out of their way to be cruel to you. So go ahead and forgive others. Doesn't mean that you invite them back into your life. It simply means that you are letting them off the hook and assuming that they didn't know, or perhaps that they didn't care. But the reason that you're going to let them off the hook is because when you hold on to anger toward another person, you are generating all of this very negative, very toxic energy, and you're putting it in your energetic field. The other person may or may not receive this anger that you're so busily manufacturing, but your body is definitely going to be assaulted by it. The people that you attract are going to pick up on this anger, and you're probably going to lower the quality of the people that you are attracting to you. You're also going to be really impacting negatively your spiritual progress. So you're not going to forgive the other person because they were perfect. You're forgiving the other person because you don't want to carry the burden of unforgiveness in your heart. It's up to them to change their actions, to forgive themselves, to do what's right. You can't live their life for them. But if you want to be one of these miracle working individuals, you got to let go of whatever was done to you. It's just not possible to hold that pain and flow enough unconditional love to really interact with miracles. You also, and this is going to be a tough one, let go of the desperation. And I got to tell you guys, I was so desperate when I first really agreed to start doing this work that I could not imagine letting go of that energy. It had become really the only energy that I was engaging with. Every moment was a new reason to feel overwhelmed. But you cannot flow God and desperation at the same time. Desperation is that poor me, everything is hard. I can't function without a miracle. But how am I going to get the miracle? Because nothing works out for me. You are creating such a low vibration, and miracles are in such a high vibration that you are creating a chasm of such width that it's going to be nearly impossible for you to get into the space where the miracle can happen. Desperation is separating you from the divine, and the divine hold the answers that you need. The answers are always forthcoming, but they are in the space where the divine are. They're not in the space of desperation. So you've got to release that. You've got to give that energy back to God. That's another technique that's within the community. Or you can just create something on your own that will allow you to give it away. The trick is to give the desperate, the oh no, away as quickly as you can so it doesn't develop roots and really get stuck in your energetic field. Are we ever going to have oh no moments? Yes. You are living in the world. You're in a physical body. You agreed to challenges. You just don't want to let that energy hold you down. It will be an anchor if you allow it. So give it back to God to be transformed as quickly as you possibly can. And even more than desperation, I'm going to say fear. If you are in that space where you are constantly afraid that things are never going to work out for you, again, that's that huge disconnect. And can tell you, I used to eat fear for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I knew no other emotion and no other go-to setting than fear. Even though my family was fine financially, that was their go-to setting, and I never questioned it into my adulthood until I had a desperation. And then that was when I was finally able to get a hold of the fact of the damage that I was doing. So, fear, desperation, they got to go so that you can raise your vibration to the miracle level. It's not that God doesn't want you to have the miracle. It's that it can only occur in this space of love, joy, and peace where they are. So you've got to go where it is, and then you can bring it into the physical world. And Evan, I see you. Evan says, after we raise our vibe, oh, sorry, I'm still learning this program. And then when we experience some bumps along the way, our vibe might, yes, your vibe is going to go up and down. It is going to, there, unless you are Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad level, able to hold your vibration, you are going to go up and down, and that's okay. That's when that forgiveness comes in. Oh, look where I am. Okay. No reason to be angry, blamey, shamey about to myself. Let it go, move on, get back into your high place as quickly as possible, remembering we have angelic support. You're not doing this alone. Call on them for help. And yes, and the second part of his question was, will this keep our miracle from us? Yes. If you were here having a good day, you plummeted down to the depths. If you got to that space where it is absolutely, everything is terrible, you are going to delay the onset of your miracle. You're going to cause yourself a setback. However, that's why you want to move back into your high space as quickly as possible. It's okay to go up and down. What I don't want you to do is stay down. That's why you want to call on angelic support. Join my group on Facebook, Healing Hearts. You'll get uplifted, inspirational messages. Get on my mailing list. You get inspirational messages. Do take the support, take advantage of the support that's being offered by others so that it's not so difficult. But also honor yourself. If you're having a moment, let yourself have that moment. This is not a time to say, oh, you're so stupid. Look at this. You let your vibration drop. Now everything's going to. Woo. No. Forgive. Okay. Identify where you are. Okay. We're in the darkest dark. Okay, I get it. This is not going to help us. This is not where I need to be. This is dishonoring to me, or whatever language you want to use. What can I do to help me get back to a place that feels good? I love going to a park and watching children play. I love seeing animals, getting out in nature, taking time to meditate, listening to wonderful music, calling on the angels for support. However, you've got to honor yourself and let yourself have that time that you need. Just keeping in mind that as soon as you're able, you want to start getting your vibration back to the place where you can be available for miracle making power. Now, the next thing you want to make sure you're doing is purifying your energy. Now, I got to tell you, when I first heard this, I was so filled with shame, not for really any great reasons, just because that's the household I grew up in. But when I heard about purifying, I thought, wow, I am so vile that the divine don't even want to be near me. That is not what purifying means in the mind of the divine. You must understand they see you as perfect. Nothing you can do is going to change them. However, they want to help you change you because they know that while you're in this depressed place, you don't have access to all of their gifts. And when you are clouded with pain and hurt and desperate feelings, negativity, you're not going to be able to access them the way you would if you are in a clearer space, a more purified space. So, purifying in the mind of the divine is simply releasing all of the lower energetic vibrations, all of the negativity, all of the ways in which you are hurting yourself. It is not becoming something that you can never be. It is simply releasing the negativity that's holding you back, holding you stuck, holding you separate from the divine. So please don't get into the headspace of I'm not good enough. Just get into the space. And again, this is in my community. Get into the space that I am wanting to release the negativity, the toxic, that which is not of the divine, because it is separating me from my greatest life, my greatest ability to be helpful, kind, and loving, and to live a life that feels good at all times. Remember that kind and loving person is not just to others, but it's also to you. All negativity is contracting you and diminishing you. All positive thoughts are uplifting, expansive, and enhancing. This is why God wants to eliminate or help you eliminate the negative as much as possible so that you are more able to receive. Now, if you are really in that negative headspace or your vibration has dropped, remember you can always use the violet flame. It is the best method for purification because the violet flame not only helps to burn away the ego, but it burns away the negativity, the condemning. So just allow yourself to spend time in the violet flame and understand that forgiveness is going to begin that purification process. If you are trying to purify yourself without forgiving yourself, if you want to hold on to this, these are all the ways that you failed me to yourself, and you think that you can bring in the violet flame and purify, you're going to have some change, but you got to forgive, let go. Let this be washed clean. Remember, we're all sinners and we're going to continue to be sinners because we're all supposed to be making mistakes, but we want to flow these mistakes, wash it clean, allow all of you to be bathed in the unconditional love of the divine. And Evan is saying, so do something that we know will bring us the feeling of peace, joy, and fun. Yes, yes. Thank you, Evan. Perfect. Perfect. If you are in a really tough space, it is probably not the time to do your most difficult task. Can you not love yourselves enough to say, okay, I'm having a really bad day. I'm going to take a moment, however much time you have to spare, and I'm going to do something that feels wonderful. And it doesn't always have to cost money. If you're on a budget that's a little restrictive, you can take a walk just like I do and go to a park and see the kids screaming and yelling and laughing and having the best time ever. Or you can watch nature or flowers or listen to music. There are so many ways that you can bring yourself joy. And Lisa says, the violet flame, she forgot all about it. Yes, and I've got a wonderful thing to share with you on that. Sirius says, yes, Saint Germain, that beautiful poem that Elizabeth Prophet wrote in her book, I Am the Violet Flame. That little poem that says, I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. That was the poem that kind of undid me. I was like, oh, I'm not good enough as I am, because I didn't understand the divine, the power, the strength. Allow yourself to be released from the negativity. Not only is it good for you, it's good for the world. We are energetic creatures. So, whatever I am feeling, you're going to get to some degree. Whatever you're feeling, I'm going to receive to some degree. Let's all share love and make it really fabulous. Also, the violet flame will help you when you're in that space of hidden negativity. So, culture, cultural beliefs, societal beliefs, familial beliefs. You may not even realize that some of these negative ways of thinking and being have been imposed upon you. Use the violet flame. It will bring them to mind, and then you can release them. Also, I want you to remember that the violet flame just is bringing you back to your natural state of being. In your natural state of being, you are as the divine are, and you are perfect. So it's going to help break the cycle of hatred, prejudice, misunderstanding. The divine don't hold any hatred, prejudice, or dislike. They are only love, joy, and peace. And the violet flame will help move you back into that space where you can be as they are. Now, the last thing you need to do, and this could be the hardest just because we live in a physical world, you have to hold the desired outcome. There's always a time element. There's no way for you to get around this. And I think that we sometimes get an incorrect understanding because we have so many things that are instant in society today. And the example the angels gave me was, instant mashed potatoes. They were the thing when I was a child. We had no instant anything. Everybody was still boiling the potatoes, mashing them, and then maybe using a mixer to make your mashed potatoes. So when anything instant started coming out, we thought it was miraculous. Look at this, and it's going to be fantastic. The fact that it tasted disgusting, half of the time I knew people that would eat it eat it anyway just for the convenience, and the fact that we had never had convenience like this before. But remember, those instant mashed potatoes that have been packaged for you were first boiled somewhere, then they were mashed somewhere, then they were seasoned and dehydrated before they were put in the box for you to rehydrate them and in your home. Miracles have to follow the same principle. You need to get an overflowing abundance of energy toward the desired result before it's going to happen. And so that means you've got to hold that stream of energy long enough for it to be possible. So anytime you get discouraged, I want you to think about instant mashed potatoes. They didn't start out instant. They started out going through the same process, cutting the potatoes, boiling the potatoes, seasoning them, dehydrating them before they got into the box where you could buy them. These are all of the steps that you may have to go through in order to possess enough of the unconditional love energy to change the physical reality that you're living in. It's not impossible. It's never impossible, but it probably is not going to happen overnight. And usually we give up when it's not instantaneous because we think it didn't work. But if you look at the life of the Christ, you look at Jesus, he needed, 13 years building. Even though he had really no ego, he was truly one of the purest God filled beings ever to walk the earth, he still needed prep time of learning how to purify himself enough to hold the container that created the miracles. So even he wasn't an instant miracle maker. Sure, the accounts, he healed everybody instantly. But what about all the years of study and preparation that went into that moment, and all of the lifetimes prior where he was purifying himself to be a vessel that could hold that much divine energy at one time? So you're not broken. You didn't do it wrong. There's nothing wrong with you if your miracle isn't here yet. It may be taking time, or it may not be for your highest good. So here's what you can do if it's taking some time. I want you to ask for guidance and support. Ask for signs, confirmation, roadmap. Don't try to sit here in your humanness and hold the vibration all by yourself. You're going to need some confirmation. You're going to need the angels to communicate with you in any way that they find and you find optimal, so that you will know, yes, you're on the right track. It can be as simple as seeing 11:11, 2:22, 3:33, whatever on the clock. And it can be as complicated as a conversation or a vision. Don't limit yourself. Just be grateful for all of their interaction. And please don't belittle yourself because you think it's less than to need confirmation. I think confirmation is one of the most powerful things that you can engage in because it builds your faith. Those European ladies in black have been getting confirmation for years, and that is what has given them their bedrock faith. Don't shut out all of the good that wants to come to you. Now, who can help you on this miracle journey? Well, absolutely Jesus, who holds the energy of unconditional love and is your bridge between the divine and your physical existence and helping you to manifest. So call on the energy of the Christ. If you hate the name Jesus, just put a different name in that place. But have a being that you can actively engage with, that you know understands the energy of the miracle and can help you really stay steeped in that energy. And of course, the other one is Saint Germain with the violet flame. And that little book, I don't know if I can, no, it's too hard for me to reach it right now. It's Elizabeth Clare Prophet, and I think it is I Am the Violet Flame, but it is her book. It's by Pocket Books, and it is her book about Saint Germain and the violet flame. It's wonderful. It's easy. It's a little tiny book, not long, and it just has great references and will really help you understand. Or, as I mentioned before, all are welcome to join my community. And within the community, you are getting tools and tips regularly that the angels are sharing with me. And they are sharing something new all of the time. Now, I see you guys were, what is yeoman powder, Sirius? And while she's answering, Evan, may we ask the angels to use the violet flame on the world? Absolutely. Now, here's why that is going to be, and my cat just joined us, so she's sitting on my notes. Here's why that could not work as well as you were hoping that it would. Some people are going to be absolutely open to it and are going to love the opportunity to step into forgiveness and purification. Others are still going to be lost in the shame. So understand, yes, you can use the violet flame on the world, and it's a beautiful, loving gift. It doesn't mean everyone in the world will change. We need to always understand that it's not that there's something wrong with the technique or something wrong with you. It's that we are all on different journeys and we are all at different places. So sometimes we are so young in our soul journey that we're not going to get it. But there are going to be plenty who are well advanced in their soul journey that will absolutely respect and appreciate the violet flame, because we all need support. So you cannot hurt with a violet flame. You just may not be able to have the same impact on everyone. Oh, Sirius says it's dried potato. And yes, and Sirius also is reminding us, remember, Jesus said in the Bible, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed. Now, for those of us who don't spend a lot of time with mustard seeds, that may not have a lot of value. But if you've ever seen a mustard seed, it's almost invisible. It's so tiny. And Jesus is telling us just that little bit of faith held consistently will morph into more and more and more. You see, the divine meet you where they are and they help you move up. But they need you to open the door a little bit, because we all have free will and they won't bang that door down. So it's up to you to take the first step forward and open the door. And then they'll give you more and more and more. They are in the business of giving, but you must first give permission. Thank you, Evan. Evan said, my Xanadu has beautiful eyes. She is an example of a miracle, because she was given to me. And by given, I'm going to say she came from the angels at a time when I didn't think it was possible to be any lower. So we were living in a place, pretty not so great place. I was struggling with how I had managed to get myself into this place, still didn't understand my role in it. So there was a lot of anger going on in me, working, but I was working every day with Mother God and with receiving, really wanting to learn, reading spiritual books, taking every class I could. I was really deeply in study, but hadn't really gotten a hold of the whole idea, because I was still very much in the shame place. So it's very difficult if you've ever been entwined in shame. It's really difficult to take responsibility from the shame place, because then you are saying to yourself, I am so awful because I've allowed this to happen. So you really have to root out the shame, release the shame, let go of all of that. It's just nonsense ego, and it's not serving you. And then once you're free of the shame, you'll be able to and get excited about taking responsibility, because you'll see how much power you had in your life that you didn't recognize. But I was deep in my shame place, and Xanadu just appeared. And for about 2 to 3 weeks, I would see her every day, and I thought that she lived at the neighbors. But then she kept appearing, kept getting closer and closer and closer. And one day, the angels told me to offer her some chicken. That was all I happened to have that she could eat, was some chicken. And she gobbled it up. And I thought, oh, she may not have a home. And so I looked at her and said, okay, well, that's all the food I have for you, but I can walk to the store from where I am and buy you some more." So I take off down the driveway to walk to the store, and up a hill and across a busy street, and got a little ways to go. But all of a sudden, I realized she was following me. And so she's following me almost halfway there. About halfway there, I turned around and said to her, "Go wait back at my house. I'm going to get you food, but I have to cross a very busy street and I would worry about you. So I don't want you to follow me." And she came a little bit further and then turned around and started slowly making her way back. Still didn't believe that she was going to get more food, but kind of got the message as the traffic noise got louder that this was not a good idea for her. So I get the food, bring it back, and just this is all being done outside because she's very shy and very scared. And so I just every day I would see her and she would uh, eat her food and kind of hang around. And then one day I started meditating outside. One day she hopped on my lap. And this by this time I had already put up signs around the neighborhood and advertised to see if anybody had lost a cat. And people had said, "Yeah, I've lost a cat," but none of them were her. So I was feeling pretty confident that I could keep her. And on another occasion, when I was walking down the driveway and she happened to be there, I said, "You know, you need a name." And because I can hear them, I can pretty much hear any energetic being, she was able to talk with me. And I said, "So you need a name." And she thought for a minute. She said, "Hmm, Xanadu, this is Paradise Found." Now, I don't know if you know the movie, long time ago movie. Xanadu was the movie Xanadu was Paradise Lost because the town Xanadu was a special place, I think in Tibet, where you could never age. And somehow travelers found their way into this town, fell in love with one of the women, and he convinced her to leave the town with him. And as she left, she aged, and I think she ended up, oh gosh, now I don't remember. It could have been a miracle ending where somehow they returned and became young again, or I think they did stop the journey because she was becoming so old so quickly that she didn't have the stamina to make the hike out. But that's how she got her name. And that was one of the miracles that the angels have given me because I desperately needed a being that was not my children to care for because I was still carrying the guilt that my children were not able to have the idyllic childhood that I wanted them to have. So just to care for this being that had been discarded for whatever reason was very healing to me. So there are so many ways in which the angels will gift you with miracles. And Evan says to you, "I try to say, 'Now I lay me down to sleep,' when I go to bed. When I do, I ask for the angels to bless everyone and give an extra oomph to those that could use it." Yes, so good. Just end your day, just regularly, just make it a habit to end your day in conversation with the divine. Just thank you, God, for all the beautiful things that happened today. Please send blessings to all those who are in need. Just love the world. Use me as the conduit to send that love out into the world. Can do so much. And you have no idea how far reaching your love will be. And then Sirius says, yes, they do. Animals give unconditional love, and they are given to us as a blessing when we need them the most. And oh my gosh, what has been the most wonderful is over the years with Xanadu is watching her go from this scared, timid little being that was afraid to get near us to an animal that loves to be with us, that is just so grateful and loving and kind and sweet all of the time. And it's just so beautiful to see what love could do. So she's my miracle in action. She is unconditional love. And that's what I want for all of you. Just remember, if you feel that there is nothing happening in your miracle space or it's getting further away, it's an illusion. Go back to the heart, clear away the hurt, the pain, the confusion, the I don't know if it's going to work. Just get into your purified heart space and then ask for guidance and confirmation. Sometimes they may send you in a different direction, and that's okay. Let's say I want healing for a specific illness, but I have contracted to go through this illness because it's going to bring me a great blessing. Well, if God were to give me the miracle that I am praying for, which is to immediately be free of this illness, I would miss out on the greater gift, which is the experience, the knowledge, the soul expansion that I would gain from participating in the illness. So, sickness, financial challenges, relationship challenges, personal challenges, all of these things do not indicate that you are failing. They are opportunities to grow. Pray for the miracle, but allow the highest good to be the ultimate end. Evan says, Holy fart, it just hit me again. B was my miracle in action. And for those of you who don't know, B was an amazing being, loving partner of Evan's, and she unfortunately transitioned. However, Evan and I have spent quite a long time speaking with B, and we know that she was complete in her life journey for this life, and therefore transitioning was the right choice for her. Doesn't mean she didn't love Evan or want to be in a relationship with him. It simply meant that she had gone as far as she could go, and he had already agreed pre-life that they were going to honor each other. Sometimes the answers are not what we're hoping for, and sometimes we won't even be able to see the bigger picture until we transition back into our energetic state. But I guarantee you that if you are aligning with God, if you are as open as you can possibly be, you are receiving your highest good. If you are dealing with hurt and hatred, you could be throwing up a lot of false signals and making a really tough time for yourself. So I'm going to really strongly urge you to get deep into the heart space and clear it up. Okay, my beautiful beings. And Evan goes on to say, true unconditional love from another person. It is rare in this life and definitely to be cherished when you experience. Oh, and Sirius adds, I had and was feeding a feral cat, and it landed up a total of 18 feral cats, and I needed them as much as they needed me. A true blessing. You know, this is so true. We have no idea what we're going to receive for the kindness. I just want you to remember that no kindness will go unrewarded. So allow yourself to be open to the reward. Empaths love to give and give and give. However, it's a little difficult for you to receive. Try to stay balanced. I'm just about to put a new technique into the My Heart's Desire community to help you maintain that balance, a little guiding technique. But know that you are always going to err on the side of giving and start looking for ways that you can be open to receiving, because it's so important. Otherwise, you're going to burn out. And if we don't have you, this world is going to be struggling. So recognize your value and allow yourself to receive. You truly all are miracle makers, miracle workers. I'm so grateful you're all here with me. So lots of love until next week. Deepest love, lots of gratitude, and thank you all.